popping. This ain't a pop-up. This is a live episode.
Live.
You know, comment, talk that shit, tell us we don't know shit, interact.
Yeah,
it's the wave, it's the vibe.
Yeah. Well, we got the chat open, so like I said, you guys can see the messages in real time. Y'all can talk to us.
Everybody wanna smoke up on that beat. Since when is this a life that I'm living? They scared to fight, but I'm chilling. If they throw fists, then I'm killing. I turn the men into victims. I turn the women into strippers. I see you begging. I'm Twitter, trying to get them. Quicker and zipping, zippers and pissing and pictures and vision. The riches is harder to got. I got a middle finger for the people saying to stop. I be the cream of the crop. I be the king to the top. I be the fiend that she's the dream, but that ain't all that he wants. I want a million fucking women. She's a linen, give me my percentage. Getting reckless even with Jesus upon the necklace. I ain't selfish, man, I just can't help it. I see the devil, man, smoke blown in my direction. Got ethereal affection. I'm a serious venereal infection. I'm the bullet from the Smith and Wesson, stressing no Lord. This is what they want to know. Where these souls gon' go when you so low, so far.
What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dev here with Bridging the Gap. And you know who it be, Coach. He's over here. He's trying to share something right this second. How's everybody doing? I mean, that's almost a rhetorical question because you can't directly talk to me right this second with a with like words. Like you just pop up in my live stream and start saying things to me, and I'm like, whoa, like how did you get here?
Yeah, you can just comment.
Yeah.
Just comment on in the things and say that you're in the room talking that shit. We want to talk shit today.
Well yeah, we'll talk shit. Yeah, go ahead, talk shit. We'll listen. Coach, what do we got on deck today? What are we talking about?
We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl yesterday. See what our opinions are, and hopefully people out there's opinion. We're going to talk about the whole situation with Jussie Smollett. I don't know how to pronounce it. Smollett.
Yeah.
I waited a while before I commented on this because I didn't want to jump the gun on my opinion, but it is what it is. Trump wants to put Bible studies in schools. We want to see what people think about that. I'm sure me and you got an opinion on it. And how is CWD? Just learned that today, popped up. How's that affecting hunting season this year? We're going to get into that for you guys out there that go out in the wildlife and love that type of life. Then we're going to talk about YouTube censorship, how they're going with it. Where's it going? Where's it headed? Where we think it's headed? And is it really trying to stop us from basically having our freedom of speech, or are they just using a business model because they want it a certain way?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could just start with the YouTube thing. So, so Coach brought it to my attention earlier today that YouTube, and if this is not mistaken, they're taking down conspiracy channels, not just Alex Jones, but other conspiratorial kind of videos, and they're saying that we no longer want those kind of videos on our platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is just they could do it. I mean, I can be mad about it. I can say that I don't agree with it, but I mean, it is their platform at the end of the day, and they do have final jurisdiction over what comes on the page and what goes off the page. So,
right.
Or what you can post and what you can post. Just the same way like Facebook doesn't allow you to send pictures of your titties. That's right, ladies. Better stop that. But actually, that's a whole other side subject. But yeah, like you can't post pornography and stuff on Facebook. Same principle.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're catching up with algorithms now that are just like weeding out everything. They're looking for search words, pop those words that pop or whatever they call them. That's what
keywords.
They can keywords. They can identify that shit real quick, and I guess like. One thing that they were pointing out was the conspiracy. So I think this is a fall down from what's his name? What the hell is his name? The guy that had the show that they cut off. They just attacked him for the conspiracy bullshit.
Alex Jones.
I think I think they're trying to control that. I think they think that people, they've seen the numbers, and think that a lot of people are researching stuff like that, and it's questioning This is my opinion. This is nobody else's but my opinion. I think that they want a certain thing pushed out. I think that's what all this net neutrality shit is they want people to see what they want them to see, that have control of this, whether it's advertising, politics, anything they want that fits their agenda and makes them more money. They want that to see. They don't want you to waste time looking at stuff that counterproductive to what they're doing. That question makes you want to question what they're doing and maybe spend your money different, because that's all it comes down to. Bottom line is controlling that buck. It's all it is, and that's what my opinion is on that whole thing.
You know, Coach, you better be careful with that conspiring opinion of yours. You might get us dethroned. They might take us off the air before we even get up there. We'll have to make our own website like Alex Jones and that's our only platform. That's the only one we get, because everybody else has banned us because we're so contemporary.
Yeah, fuck them. That's what I say. I mean, there's always going to be, like, if you alienate some people enough and then you piss the right person off that has the right resources, a revolution can start tomorrow and you'll be losing all your shit to another company. We talked about that earlier. I was thinking about that today. Like, how easy would it be if, like, we just think about it like what they just did with that fucking egg that they had. They said it started with somebody posting it saying they wanted to knock the Kardashian girl, or Jenner, knock her off for having the most likes on one post or something like that. I don't know.
So they took a picture of an egg.
So they took a picture of the egg and they started, and that's how easy the revolution. So if it was something important and it could shift over to another site, I would think like most of the YouTubers that are making a lot of money wouldn't go nowhere. So they would have some influence. But I think most of the freelancers that are trying to get in the door that believe that type of shit would probably leave.
Yeah. And there's a benefit, too, to going to new platforms. Like, if you're one of the first people on a new platform and that platform ends up blowing up, then, you know, that's what I think we were talking about how the Kardashians were one of the first people on Facebook.
I think they were the first Facebook or Instagram, one of the two.
They were popular. They got very popular off one platform because they were one of the first endorsers of it, and then that platform blew up. So they had that backing and they had that following. Same way with these other platforms. So if you have other platforms besides YouTube that you're using, and they start popping, their business model or their service starts popping, and you're one of the first users on there, you're going to garner more users and you're going to have more influence.
So is that a thing that you prepare for? Like, do you because you see how things shift and change. So if you're making your money off social media, do you have, like, especially somebody like them, speaking of the Kardashians, how they make so much money off of their social media, do you think they have people right now that are looking into the next wave of things? Like a paid position, like that's their job.
Yeah, right.
Fine.
The difference for them though is that because they already have such a huge following on these other platforms, they don't have to join on that new platform day one to get that following. They can wait until that platform actually becomes
and just
a competitor and shift over, and then they'll already have that following.
And they'll
if anything, they will bring their people from the other platform to that platform. They will bring their following to that other platform with that kind of power.
Yeah, and they'll generate money off it. They'll say, how much are you giving me? And then they'll go back to the other platform and say, how much are you giving me? That's how that's going to work.
Yeah, right.
They're not going to join. What I'm basically saying is that they're not going to join in for principal reasons. They're not. They're going to join in for how much money are you going to pay me to make the stay or leave? Yeah. Which one? That's pretty much how they're.
Well, actually, I'd flip that around. They're not staying for moral reasons, but for principle. The principle's the dollar bill. That's the principle.
Yeah.
And they're like,
all right, yeah. There's no switch on that. They're going or staying for the right price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, I could see somebody like for instance, like we'll say like academics. If you're on the YouTube, he is like, I think he has a great deal with that Twitch thing. I think he signed him a great deal with them by using that platform. So I don't think he would lose anything. I think he just keeps monetizing his YouTube channel because it's another check that's coming in. I don't think that's his concern. I think his concern is utilizing that Twitch and building with them as they grow, possibly get a position with them down the line, stuff like that. That's how that stuff works. Like, people really, like, you got to take it and take a like, just don't get on here thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this. You got to think ahead to, like, that's where my mind goes with it. Like, create the content and then think ahead to where you're gonna take it, and it could be lucrative for you, because that's what I love about it. And I think they're trying to shut that down because people are becoming instant, right? They're overnight.
Yeah.
Whether it's music, you know, just doing videos or something, you know what I mean? You could become instant if you got the personality to do it. And there's no gatekeeper that can say, "Hey, we don't want that message sent out right now, so we're not going to allow them in the offices that actually have the resources to get it done. Now you can do it yourself." They'll come to you now.
Yeah. That's actually a good segue into talking about the discussion of Trump wants Bible study classes, because now we're talking about limiting, not really limiting speech, but because it's already said in the Constitution, you know, we want the separation of the church and the state, because you know, if the state endorses a religion, it's the principle of freedom from religion. If you don't have freedom of religion, then you don't have freedom from religion. Because if the state backs a religion, and then that religion takes power, then your democracy now becomes a theocracy. So it's whatever the religious people in power would say. And you know, and when you start teaching your kids, like, because it's specifically the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, if it's strictly the Bible, then you're not. That's not you're endorsing something. I mean, maybe some are saying maybe have it as elective. Me personally, I think, and this is coming from an atheist, they should teach the Bible in school. They should teach all religions in school and teach the facts about them, like how they were written, who wrote them, when the timeline of when they were written, all the contemporary sources we have for the truth of these claims of resurrection and all that. They should really go in and like I said, this is coming from an atheist, and they should have those classes, because if you educated the kids more about it, I believe there'd probably, and this is from my perspective, there would be a lot less religious people. They'd be able to reason better, because usually the churches, they want to get them while they're young and you know, indoctrinate them with these ideas, and then whenever they grow older, you know, it's harder for them to shake them, because the idea of a God and all this other stuff is so real to them.
Yeah, you'd be opening up the Pandora's box on that one, because now you'd have to, I would make them electives. Yeah. I mean, that's like the thing, like you can't force anybody to do that. That's very private. Like, I don't know how he's saying it in per se. Like, is that what he's saying? Is he making an elective, or is it? I don't see no problem with making an elective.
Well, the thing is, it's already an elective. At my school, they had a Bible study where, like, they would pull you out of lunch, and I went to it. I went to it a couple times because the food was better.
You got credit? You got credit for it?
Yeah. No, not credit. It was like,
so it's not an elective.
They had a Latin lunch, and then it wasn't an actual course in the curriculum, but they had, like, you know, the church was inside the school basically. Right. Using it, like they were using it, like, oh yeah, let's get the kids, right? And,
I get that voluntarily though. You weren't saying, all right, get out your Bibles right now.
Yeah, get to your Bible and turn the page.
If you don't take,
rip out your Bibles and turn to Isaiah chapter 20.
Yeah, they're not doing that. That's totally different. Like, I mean, if they wanted to do that in that manner, like, you know, but I don't see. I just think you should put it on an elective thing and say, hey, if you want to take this class, you know, you get credit towards whatever. I mean, you would get the target the people that you want. Maybe some people I just don't, to me, like going and trying to recruit people at an impressionable age to something, to me is like kind of, I don't know, especially something like that. It's just kind of creepy to me.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that, so this is the way I think about it, right? From what I'm saying is, like, so there's theology courses. You have theology courses, and you also have those in college. You also have those in high school where they teach about religions. They're just classes that teach about religions, and I think it's good for every kid to understand. Not just kids, but probably teenagers, because that's probably the best time to really try to explain the facts about them and everything. You know, so they can actually comprehend what you're saying, to teach them and give them a basic understanding of each religion, because for one, what we would have is less bigotry towards other religious denominations, like because Christians, there's a lot of Christians that are not fans of Muslims, and Muslims who aren't fan of Christians, and yada yada yada. But if you had that basic understanding where you taught those facts and what the beliefs are behind them, not just for the Bible, but also for Islam and all these other things, because it's no different than teaching the basics of Greek mythology, right? Like we teach about Greek gods and stuff like that, and all of those things. Although you would say a lot of people believe them, there are people that are pagan and still believe in the old gods. Like the Nordic ones, probably the most popular. Like people believe in like fucking Thor. People still think Thor's flying around with his giant ass hammer and yada yada yada, and that's their belief. They believe in old gods. So it's no different than teaching those kind of beliefs, and all you would do is present the information. You wouldn't come in with a bias and say, like this is why this religion's better than this one or whatever. No, it'd just be like, okay,
but
this
how
is
much time? How much time would you be spending? Because then you would be it would start the cycle all over again. Because you would have to say, okay, this is the Bible. Who believes in the Bible? Catholics and Christians and all kinds of denominations. And then you would get people like we're a melting pot. America's a melting pot. Then we're leaving out people from our immigrants that came in, cultural people that's been here that live by their culture and religion. What happens there?
Oh, no. Yeah, you misunderstand me. I'm not just talking about the Bible. I'm saying there should be a theology course where it teaches all religions, like a little bit about the world religions. That way, like kids can have, especially teenagers, can have a basic understanding of the position other people hold, because what it will do is teach the facts about religion, so you can make an informed decision if you want to believe in that God, in a God or whatever, which, that's fine. You can believe in whatever you like, I just present the evidence and facts. And two, it will teach tolerance towards other people's religion, because a lot of people want to straw man the Muslim faith. People want to straw man the Christian faith. People want to straw man, whatever belief someone has in a religious, a god, right? The deist position, whatever. They want to throw slander at it based on things that they don't fully understand and out of context. So I would say, have a theology course where you teach all of the world religions, or to the best of your ability, and not shadow towards one like, hey, here's the one you should pick. Be like, here's the information about that. Here's how it was formed. Here how it was, yada yada yada.
Yeah, I see the sense in it. I just, how people are. I don't think it's something that is winnable.
Yeah. Well, my only problem is that eventually I feel like a bias would come in, because there would be the teacher who maybe is a Christian, or there would be a teacher who is a Muslim, and then they would shade it a little bit. Because I've been in high school classes where there's teachers that have a little bit of a bias towards a certain position, and they teach it a little bit. Like I know in science classes there's people that believe in certain things. Like I've had teachers that shade a little bit towards something, even though like all the evidence isn't there, like some of the ideas for black holes.
So you're saying they had some religious beliefs?
The scientists?
Or they had no? Are we saying most scientists are probably atheists, or?
Oh no? Yeah, most scientists are atheists, but there are Christian scientists.
Yeah, because I had a science teacher. He was Christian. I had his wife at one school, and then I had him at another school. He was a science teacher, and he was Christian, but he just taught the curriculum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. And that's how most teachers are. I'm saying in a theology course, right?
Yeah.
You might get
you could cause some issues.
Yeah. Well, I was saying too, and for example, I've had science classes where there was an actual I've had science classes where there actually was a little bit of a bias, like when we were watching, like they would show us things like Cosmos and stuff, and like they would talk about scientific theories, and kids were impressionable. We think that they're those are exactly true whenever they're maybe not. There's evidence to support them, but they're not exactly like true, and they kind of teach them like, oh yeah, like this is the fact of the matter, even though the jury's kind of still out on some of the things.
Yeah. They're just teaching what they're told, basically, and what they've been taught, like the information that they're given. Right. Because like we say, like I say all the time, there's no way us walking around here have all the information that is available. You know what I mean?
That's obvious.
You know what I'm saying? And I think those.
And I don't think anybody would claim to. Any intellectually honest person would never claim that they have all the information.
Yeah, not because of their willingness to get it. It's just not available to you. It's for certain eyes only. You know what I mean? I believe that's facts. That's just facts. Like there's information you're not like you get to a certain place.
Oh no, Coach! You're
holding on
the
to
conspiracy slope. They're coming for us.
They're coming. I don't give a fuck.
They're coming. I hear them. Good.
We're not even in that shit, but yeah, I just think like everybody's gonna like it's not gonna work. I think it's one of those things that he has a list of things. And there's dates behind those things that he promised to people that got him, and he knows Reed's elections coming up, things ain't going his way, so he has to start grabbing things. Those phone calls that he's getting are no longer, "Oh, I'm glad you're in there, Mr. President. Do everything you said." It's now, when are you going to do what you said you were going to do?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Because you're right now, because now it's like that, but it feels like that procrastination kind of thing where like, do you notice like his whole first year of the presidency, it just felt like he was doing these kind of really small kind of things. And then like, it was just the past year where he really got back on the wall. Like he started getting back on the campaign trail, everything he promised.
Yeah. Yeah, he has no choice. He knows where it's going. Like he has no choice. He doesn't want his supporters but they are getting lower and lower and lower. You still got a core of them. He still can do what he did last time in all actuality, and especially because of what the Democrats are doing now. They're just doing the same thing they did 2 years ago, and it's going to end up with the same result. But he doesn't want to totally alienate the powerful people that he had, and we know that the churches. If you get the church's backing, you got the backing, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, also too, you got to think about it. His party's the Republican Conservative Party, and you know, like they've been wanting. That's something they've been wanting is church back in schools forever because they don't understand. They don't understand that because they believe this is the God blessed country and God blessed it. Even though all those things weren't added to the Constitution till like hundreds of years after the Constitution, like they were added on 100 years.
And you
later.
could. And what we talked about before, like even in all teachings, any book that you open, you can twist those words to justify what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like
someone could twist the meaning of a word,
and say like because you notice in every speech, like when it's something to do with war and something bad happened, there's always God's put it into it. You know what I'm saying? Because they can find something in there that twists the situation to say, see, it was written, you know, and people go behind that without actually doing like research or comments, you know, like, yo, this can't be right. You know what I mean? To me, I understand there's factors that you have to do things like in protection of a country, but there's certain things that I don't think you need to do just to generate what you're trying to do. It doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah. I do agree. Like I said, because either way, it's fine to me. I believe in separation of church and state. So you know, if they don't want to teach some kind of theology class, it's fine. I think they should, but I mean, I'm still equally as happy if they don't have a theology class. That's how I see it. I'm equally okay as long as they keep because the minute you start teaching one religion to people, then you realize that now it's opening the door to theocratic thinking. That's what we don't want. We don't want because you know there are countries in the world that are theocracies. For instance, most Middle Eastern countries, and they are killing each other over dogma. It's sad, really, because that's why a lot of those countries have those fights. Is because they're all in disagreement about their particular interpretation of an ancient book. You know, like a lot of the Muslim subgroups. Which is, it's like I said, it's sad.
Well, that's Christians too.
And Christians. And Christians because
you can't put it all on the Muslims.
Yeah. Well, no, there's nothing, and that's what I'm saying is like there's nothing wrong with the the Muslim faith in that sense, except for the fact that they're killing each other because one believes this is the interpretation of the Quran, and there are other people that believe this interpretation of the Quran. But also, you're right, because there's Christians over there, and apostasy, which is like the biggest sin, to be a infidel who denies Allah and instead believes in Jesus. is, you're dead wrong. Like, they will kill you for that, right? And homosexuality, and like I said, because they're killing you all. What I mean? Their government is ruled by their belief in a God, not in a democracy that cares about the well-being of people.
Yeah, and I think we can't. What we're like, also, we always got to be told, because like I said, I've had talks with people that are actually from that haven't been in America for a long time, and it's being depicted by us. We're getting facts from our tree. Like, unless you talk to real people or been there, we don't really like. It's just, to me, it's the same thing as us. We do the same thing. We just don't do it like in their manner of doing things. We do the same shit here. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody uses the same format, and use power of the media shows us what we're supposed to think, but we don't really know what goes on over there. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. I think that a lot of people are doing exactly what we say, is there's no research in it. It's just bang. But if you can go look in the ancient books and see that these people been fighting, the Bible has fighting and fighting. We fight and fight. We stick our nose in the stuff that really doesn't have. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, really, I don't really care what they do over there.
Yeah. Hey, Nick Bilger come in. He asked me, what are we talking about? Fill me in real quick. We're talking about Bible classes in school right this second. So Donald Trump proposed teaching like the Bible and having Bible study courses in school, which, my position is that, I believe they should teach religion, but only the fact. I'm an atheist. They should only teach the facts about religion, and not just one religion, but all religions. They should teach as many main religions as they can. Teach the basics about Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever belief there is to have, and even atheism, the lack of belief. Teach all of them, and just teach the facts about them and those belief systems. That way we A, have factual information so we don't strawman the other positions, and B, we create tolerance and understanding of those other religions.
Yeah, I just don't see that. Like, it's not feasible. There's not enough time to actually, like you said, if they're going to straw it by chopping it up and deciding what the curriculum they're going to tell you, instead of like going through it. There's just not enough time, and it's not an attainable goal. There's not enough time to go through all that stuff in a school setting and fairly, to break it down fairly. There's just not enough time. I just don't think it's feasible.
Yeah. So hey, let's lighten up the mood here. You were saying about we I feel like we kind of glossed over it. Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Fucking well, listen, everybody think, me personally, I'm from that era where if I can keep the game 10-3, I'm good. 13-3, how it was. Everybody's boring. It's not a fun thing to watch. But me as a coach, and that's what I do, that's what I want right there. I don't want to have being unsure, slinging the ball across the field. That's entertainment, and that's what the NFL was going for. But they had the lowest ratings in 10 years. And to me, watching that game last night was boring to me, but I understood it because I appreciated the game plans on both defenses. I appreciated what they did, and I appreciated the fact that the guy that, Brady, that everybody doubted, was able to put that one drive together to win the game.
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, we could talk about it from top to bottom. Oh, hold on. What did Nick say? Yeah, I agree with that, because I think it would help with understanding other people. It will. Hold on. Let me do something real quick here, Nick. Okay. It will help people understand why they believe what they believe. And I know we moved on, so you don't have to respond to this. I just read it. Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree. Like I said, yeah, help people understand why they believe what they believe. And I think epistemology, that's a great thing. If you don't teach theology, they definitely should teach epistemology, knowing how you believe what you believe, the understanding of knowing things. And Nolan says defensive football is the best football. I didn't watch the game, but that's the best kind of football in my opinion. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's not fun football to watch by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, I get, especially if you're watching a game like the Cleveland Raiders game that happened this year, where it was like 45 points. Like the final score was like 45-42. And I like those high scoring games, but also if you're the other team involved, you get pissed off. You're like, oh my god, don't stop letting them score. Oh my, you're gonna let them win. and like that shit gets so intense. The defensive game, you're just it almost feels like this really slow kind of progression, but like you could kind of see the outcome coming. Like it's a hard fought battle on both sides,
Yeah, it's the preciseness. Like I already knew what they were gonna do to those receivers.
Yeah.
All they had to do was reroute them.
Yeah, and
They're too small. They're not strong. They're not strong enough to deal with that secondary and the corners and the safeties and letting your linebackers drop in the schemes that you had. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't think that they would hold them to 3. I thought it would have been like a 2017 game, 24-17, but they just overexceeded what I thought they were going to do. It was an excellent scheme drawn up.
Yeah. Well, I had talked to my buddy Courtney in that, and he said that Goff didn't look like Goff didn't look like he was like up to par and stuff. And I said, well, no, I think it's not because Goff wasn't up to the task. I think that defense just held all of his receivers to basically he was just holding the ball too long and getting people in his face.
The scheme and how they were blitzing him. They were blitzing him crazy. They're the type of team like the Ravens will say. Ray Lewis will always say this. We didn't scheme to trick you. We were playing straight up defense, and that's a hard, that's cool. What the Patriots do is they find ways that you maybe haven't seen for the last 8-9 weeks, and then you got to automatically be like, oh my God, and it makes you think to flash back to be like, oh my God, this is when we played this team back then, and that split second that you think they're on your ass, and then the defense is able to do their what they game plan. And it's a lot of positioning. Like if you notice that what was going on with the Patriots in their secondary, they were forcing them to the outside. They were playing inside leverage a lot with their slots and then one of their corners, and then they would just have Gilmore lock down one of them.
Yeah.
And then this
this is something I was going to interject to say. McVay, after the Super Bowl, even said in his post conference that he was outcoached. And you know what was funny was after I started watching in the fourth quarter, and you could just kind of see it on McVay's face that he looked like he just didn't know what to do to fix the issue, like adjust for it, because he had this look on his face the whole time where he's like, what do you mean? Like, what do I do at this point? Oh, and
I think they did a key thing, like when Patriots went for it on that fourth and what was it, under a yard, and they stopped them. Now I thought if you could see obvious that whatever they were doing on defense was confusing Brady from the start. Mm-hmm. So all he had to do was not make a huge mistake. So they started their game plan, but I felt if they would have got that first down, that game would have totally went different. They would have scored way more points because they would have knocked them out of the box. And I congratulate the Rams for staying around for that long, because the defensive game plan was they had that solid shit locked down.
Yeah, it was. So, but Nolan said, I agree, but at the same time, it's what the league is going to. The NFL is moving to smaller, speedier receivers, and that actually brings up a good point that we talked about.
Bully them motherfuckers. I'm telling my secondary. Reroute. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Reroute.
And that's what I was saying. And that's the Rams receiver core. Robert Woods is 5'10", and Brandon Cooks is 5'11", and I believe Gilmore is 6 foot. And you have these guys that are slightly bigger, and that's how I think if you were trying to if you have small receivers on the outside, the way to beat them is press coverage. The only way to beat the press coverage with smaller receivers is motion or quick routes. That's it. They just didn't have an adjustment for that. And they had all the information. The information was there. The information says that the Patriots are the best at man coverage, man press coverage. They get the ball. They get more sacks out of it. They get more everything. So the game plan was easy for Belichick. Well, not pretty. I'm sure he went in depth with the coaching staff. They took those 2 weeks and went very in depth and said, if you see this, it's a lot of information. You expect your players to go, but that's what I keep saying about the Patriot organization. It is that system. It is they're well prepared, is because they're not looking for stars. Of course they want stars, but do we think Brady would have this success in his career if he played for any other team? No,
I don't think so either. I think it's a match. That match, Brady is willing to be. He wanted to be great. He was always good and great at the level, but once he got in the NFL, if he didn't get around somebody like Belichick at that, I think it was all timing. I think it was all them two getting together, and I think it was all just like he was focused in on. I'm here. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna listen to whatever you say, coach, and I'm just gonna work at getting better. That put them. So it's both of them deserve the credit for being able to do that because that's a hard thing to find. Very hard. So one question though: does Josh Gordon deserve a ring?
Does Josh Gordon deserve a ring?
Yes.
I don't think he deserves a ring. But at the same time, he did contribute to the regular season, so I guess he's kind of owed one. Like he is. I don't think he deserves one because he wasn't with the team the whole year, and all he had to do was clean up his act, and he's demonstrated he can't do it.
That has nothing to do with
it. But he played in the season. He played for the team the year they won the Super Bowl. So I mean, he was a part of it. So I guess in that sense, he has to have a ring.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. It's the rules and stuff like that. You got to give it to him. Me personally, I wouldn't give it to him, to be honest. Depending on depending on how we interacted, and I don't think they had enough time to even judge that, so they really can't have, unless he was just a total dick around the whole time he was there, and he was incorrigible and just bullshitting. If I seen that and I was the coach, I would be like, man, I would probably be fighting it the whole way. Like, fuck that dude. We ain't giving him shit. You know what I mean? But if he was in there and he was trying and he slipped up, I honestly don't know how I would handle that either because didn't know you that long to see how you were acting before. And I know this is a common occurrence. Like, if you don't care about it, why should I? Type of situation there. So I don't think he should get one. They got to give him one how the rules go, but I don't think he should get one.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, and I would agree with that too. Like I said, I was saying from the technicality standpoint, I mean, he was part of your winning season. So
fuck him.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're right. I mean, he wasn't there for the Super Bowl, and that's all he really had to do.
He wasn't there because of your action, and I get it. That's true. I mean, he's suffering from some shit. He needs to get help, but he's had many opportunities. It's a hard, tough disease to fight and all that. We're all for it, but some accountability has to be. He hasn't been held accountable since probably middle school.
No, I agree. He's had every opportunity, and that's what I'm saying. So I mean, that's what I'm saying is so he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve the ring to me.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm saying for our viewers to understand why, coming from a coach that's done this for years, that would be my opinion on it. I wouldn't, unless that dude showed me he really cared, and it doesn't seem like he's showing these teams because the Browns, I mean, they gave him so many chances. I think he hustled his way out of that. He's been doing it by just saying things, but really not putting in the footwork. His mouth ain't matching his feet. So when he's talking, he ain't footwork and to go do that movement, to do the shit you got to do to make sure you stay with the team. So at that point, after doing all this history, yeah, I'd probably be in that category. Probably be do we have to? That would be my first question. Do we have to get this motherfucking ring?
Do we have to? Okay, I guess we will.
All right, KK Craft. Oh, and another thing, what was creepy? Did you see fucking Brady kiss fucking dude on the lips, bro?
No, I didn't see it. But
that shit is crazy to me. He's done it to Belichick. I can understand doing it to your dad, but at this age, it wouldn't even be.
What? I can understand kissing your dad on the lips.
Your dad? Yeah, come on.
I could get it. I mean, in other cultures,
it's not that creepy.
Yeah, and in other cultures, like Italians especially, the kissing on the lips and shit that's nothing to them. Kissing they're, you know what I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah, I don't see that as a big thing with your dad, but with your fucking head coach and your owner, creepy shit's going on over there. That's all I gotta say, man. And shout out to Robert Kraft. I want to give him some respect because he's doing things that no other person in the league is doing. Like he's on board with the Sixers. They helped get Meek out. They started that reform program for jail. He's probably one of the only NFL owners that's understanding what's really going on.
Hey, I just saw this article. Check this out. Diddy. Robert Kraft supports Diddy becoming a NFL team owner.
Yeah.
What the hell? I just thought that's something so interesting that Diddy would do. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go own an NFL team.
They were trying. They started a group to buy the Panthers.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but
I forgot when what's his face died. They had a change. Not died. Didn't he like get caught in some kind of rape accusation or something? And then the owner of the Panthers stepped down.
Yeah, he was selling. He was getting his. He was the shareholder, majority, so he was selling his part. And I guess as it goes, you got to get permission from all the other owners.
Mm. Yeah, right.
It's a rich boy private club,
which is really fucked up. You know what I mean? Like it should really just be like, hey, I'm the owner of this team, and we're gonna play each other. Like it shouldn't have to be that way. Right?
No, it shouldn't have to be. But bro, these are the things that's been happening for generations. Now with the kneeling thing and all the bullshit that people are talking about, like the protests and all that, I mean, it's to me it's pretty fucking useless because it does like everybody until the players, like I said way back when I was having the players decide that they're not going to take that money anymore. But who's going to act like you can't sell them your livelihood, what you work for all your life, stop working because of what they're doing to this situation in their good boys club. People got to start realizing that you're just another product in that system. They don't give a fuck about you. All they give a fuck about is that money, and that's just facts. So you got to be careful. And when I seen something, that's why I gave shout out to Kraft because he's really trying to understand. And coming from where he's from, he hasn't had much contact to understand what goes on in the black community, but he's trying to understand what's going on and he's getting involved. So people should follow suit.
Yeah, right on. Now back to kissing of the lips of some older men. Tom Brady's out here kissing lips of older men, huh? Whatever. I think
I know whatever, but
whatever. You know what I mean? Like dude, listen.
If I
this is what we said
because you just recorded a good show.
Is this what? Okay, hold on. So like, here's what's bad about it. Why me and you were like, because he doesn't say nothing about it. He's just like, yeah, like this is okay. Like we're just sitting there like, bro, why are you kissing these people on the lips? Like
you're going around like it's like normal to them, like they're just walking out of practice one day. Hey, what's up, Kraft? Kissing them.
Tom Brady's like, yeah, give me some smooches, Kraft.
Like that's just some normal shit. That shit ain't normal, bro.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not normal whenever especially like that's the owner of your team. Like he's basically your owner. He takes care of you, and then you're just like, yeah. Ugh. But at the same time, it'd be different if like he was in like an open polygamist relationship. Like he's like, oh yeah, like it's cool. Like he just shrugged his shoulders, like someone asked him, and he casually was like, oh yeah, me and Robert Kraft sleep. We have anal sex all the time, and my wife's cool with it.
Said anal sex, but yeah, I mean, if he was living their truth, but they're just talking like, and that's a way of doing it too, being like, we're not hiding it, but we don't care.
Yeah, like,
and we have so much power before we go into an interview that we can tell you if you say anything about this, we're not doing an interview and you can't use the footage.
Yep.
Well, that's how that works. So I'm sure it's been brought up, but they just that's just another way of them saying, okay, we're not, whatever's going on there. It's definitely creepy because me as a coach, we're going viral because I'm going to beat you the fuck up with this.
You dare not kiss me on the lips. Well, no, it has to be mutually consenting.
Not because I'm not anti-gay or anything like that. I'm nothing like that. I don't care about that shit. It's just, it's not me, so don't try and do that shit.
Oh my God.
If I didn't give you the okay to do that, that means that they have that understanding that it's been going, like it's going on. It's something that happens all the time.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, but it's the same concept of, like, a consent thing, though. Like I said, like, I wouldn't want someone, like, so, like, obviously Kraft and Tom Brady are consenting to kissing each other or whatever.
And Belichick.
And Belichick. because it'd be different. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't want someone to kiss me on the lips, and if some dude, a friend of mine or whatever, like come and kiss me on the lips, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, it'd be a totally different moment, unless that's what you guys been doing for years.
Yeah,
so
right.
It wouldn't be uncomfortable when they were doing it. It wasn't uncomfortable for them because that's what they do.
Yeah, right.
That's just creepy. It's just creepy.
Yeah,
so So bottom line with the Super Bowl.
Hey, now we're talking about these homosexual, weird kind of conspiracy kind of deals. What about was it named Jesse? His name Jesse Smollett Malone.
Just small. That's a very serious thing that's going on with him. Like, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but he just did some weird shit. What's your opinion on it?
What's my opinion on it?
Did you look into it?
Not really, but I mean, my opinion on it is just gonna be basically like, these people, if there's someone out there and they're doing weird things or whatever, like, they don't need to bullshit about it. They should just come out about it, unless it's like criminal. In that case, I understand why you don't want to incriminate yourself. But I mean, like if you're into that shit, just fucking own it. Like, who was the guy we were talking about that was like, he's a basketball player, and like it was it a gay man or a transgender person like got to him or something?
Dwight Howard,
that's it. Yeah, like something similar to that. So,
well, and not like you can't do it, like, but he's an openly gay dude. What happened was not what he's saying happened. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, a lot of people, people are split on it that really don't know how that lifestyle works. I think he was a little tipsy. He came off of doing some work. What's being said is he just came home. Mm-hmm. From being doing some work, whether he was filming something or something. So he's back home in Chicago. We got to set this scene, yo. It's like negative 10 degrees outside. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You don't go to Subway at 2 o'clock in the morning to get a sandwich damn near by the south side of Chicago and go to get a sandwich in negative weather. That's just rule number one. Right?
For one, you underestimate how hungry I could ever be. But go ahead.
There's Uber Eats, Mom. He's got money. Yeah. He could have got him something to eat without leaving. Believe that.
Right.
So to me, it's like, what do people that know how the lifestyle is, I think he was out. He was a little tipsy. He got the bright idea, like, hey, I'm gonna go out and have some fun. Which fun? I mean, I don't care. You're gay. You do things. I think he does this. Everybody has some kind of like little fetish or something. Some people have big fetishes when it comes to that stuff. I think he got into it with the wrong people that he didn't really know that well, and then the shit got a little weird, and then it got physical. They said there was some jewelry taken from him that was pretty expensive. And another key teller to it, the story just has all kinds of holes in it. Like, said the Subway was closed, right?
Oh.
He didn't call the police. He called his manager first. And then he didn't call the police until 2 hours after it actually happened, 2-3 hours after it happened. And
what is actually being said that happened?
He's saying that 2 people assaulted him, and they called him a nigger, and they called him the gay dude from Power, and said this is Magna Country, and beat him up, put a noose around his neck.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's what happened. That's what he's saying.
Happened. That's the alleged story. Okay.
Yeah, I can believe maybe that was said, but but what I don't believe is how it happened. He just wasn't walking down the street. I'm believing that he got mixed up with some people. He didn't do due diligence on the type of people he was dealing with. It was new people. Thought he was going to have some kind of freaky time, because I think that's what he does. Honestly, it's just my opinion. I think that's what the situation is, because none of it adds up. And then he just got around some people that were like, yo, you're sick, dude, and just tried to fuck him up, rob him, and took it as a win. I don't think, like, a lot of that stuff, I don't know if it could have been said. I'm not going to say that wasn't said, but just the way that he's saying it happened, it didn't happen like that.
Yeah. Right, because there's a lot of holes in the theory that he's putting out.
It's just creepy.
Yeah. Well,
And the thing about it is what's crazy though, bro. This is the part, because if he is lying, like he doubled down on this shit at a concert that he did. I think it was just yesterday. Yeah, yesterday he did a concert. It was sold out. He even the tickets that were left over now. They doubled the prices of those tickets because of this scenario and got the venue sold out. He said on there like he's doubled down on saying what happened. He said he's gonna fight to prove to catch these people. Called himself the gay Tupac. I mean, to me, it sounds like he got on the phone like when they say that there's a gap between him calling. Like he called his manager and told him what happened, and his manager was like, "Oh, your jewelry got snatched. Oh, we need an insurance claim. We can spin this a certain way. Say this." And he probably said as close as the truth as possible, but he didn't say that like he probably interacted with these people. Like he wanted to interact with these people.
Yeah, like he had intent, is what you're saying. Like it wasn't like, oh, I got jumped. It was like, oh no, I met up with these people and
yeah, you were going out to do some weird shit, and you fucking got caught up into some shit. Because this is the factor of the bottom line of it all. There's no way 3 hours later you got a noose around your fucking neck and you're a black dude. No black dude is gonna keep a noose around their neck until the police come for evidence. No, that's not gonna happen because they don't even trust the police.
Yeah.
So why would they keep that?
Yeah,
man,
why would they
like,
do that?
The second you get away from that shit, like what the fuck this is a fucking noose. You're gonna throw that shit on the ground. You're probably gonna be so fucked up about the scenario. You're gonna walk away with it. But they got pictures of him. They got some pictures of people of interest that don't show no assault. They just show them walking around by this scenario. I didn't see exactly what that was, but they're saying they're just a person of interest. They just want to talk to him and see what they saw around the area. But they got him coming back into his hotel with a sandwich in his hand. The sub.
Listen, that's the most important thing because at least he got a fucking sandwich out of it.
He got his fucking sandwich, and he still got the fucking noose around his neck. There's no way. There's no fucking way that was gonna go down like that. Yeah. No way. No way.
Yeah, unless you were like, so drunk that you're just like, I mean, I've been there before. We're like, I just don't care about anything else besides what I need right now. And I'm like, yeah, I need a sandwich, and like everything else is just like my shoes falling off. I just don't fucking care. I need to eat this sandwich.
Yeah, but I think they.
I know, you're right. You're right. I'm just fucking.
Yeah, I know, but I get it. But yeah, that wasn't one of these cases, bro. This motherfucker man. Was. That would be. He got caught. He got caught, and that's what it is. And the sad part about it is you're throwing this in the lap of people. See, people stepped up, and this is the key that I seen also that people didn't really notice. That's why I kept my mouth shut for a couple of days and let it unfold before I said anything. The dude that is the creator of Power. His name's Lee Daniels. He's made a lot of good Hollywood movies. He's gay too, openly gay, and he automatically made a video that next morning, or maybe that next morning when he found out, made a video, was crying, telling a story, and then immediately was taken down. So that tells me a lot right there, that like he was like, wait a minute, is this true? Like he probably got some information from dude's people that say, yo, you might not want to, we want to try to make this go away type shit and all that. And then now he's in it. Now he boiled some water. Now he's got to get into it because you threw it into the laps of like black civil rights leaders that are all riled up, that are ready to find a reason to go after people and say, see, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? And the LGBT community are like, see, they don't. I mean, I've had conversations with a few of my gay family members that don't believe it. And there's a lot of stuff that's been online today that'd be like, there's no way. And then you just don't see the proper like channels if that was really the case and they really had proof of this story happening, how people would be assembling right now.
Yeah, that's 110%.
And if it comes out, his career is over.
Yeah, well, I think it's even worse because I think he lied about everything too. I mean, it's a convoluted lie, and I gotta admit, it's pretty good because I would go out for a Subway sandwich at whatever time. You might think that's fucked up, and especially in Chicago, and I might agree with that, but You underestimate how hungry I can be. That's
Oh
all.
fuck! How hungry you can
Bro,
be.
I'd
You're
be,
talking about this weirdo, yo.
yeah, I'd be
This
like
motherfucker did
if
not
I'm
go out
craving a
at 2.
fucking Subway sub at like 2 a.m. and like I'm like tipsy or something, I'm like, I'm getting a fucking we're getting a Subway sub. And if I need to drive, I'll just call somebody like, yo. They'd be like, what are you doing? It's 2 a.m. I'm like, listen, you need to get me to Subway. I need a 6-inch fucking oven roasted chicken on flatbread with provolone cheese, spinach, lettuce, and green peppers ASAP. Need that done right away. Yeah, and now we get to the deer. We just took a right turn basically, and a no right on red because we were just talking about this guy who is caught up in a this kind of like big kind of convoluted lie, and then we're talking about deer, and there's a disease known as CWD, or chronic wasting disease. Yeah, that's what it's called. Okay, it exists in a family of deer species and elk. It's like, how would I describe the disease? It's it usually leads to like pneumonia and everything else. It's a I believe it's a not neurolymphatic, a neuroendocrine kind of disease. It has to do with like pituitary glands and like growth and all kinds of stuff. And usually they're researching. They don't know everything about it. They're saying that the deer are dying because of pneumonia, because it does something with the lungs, and it's a mess. But what we're talking about is that they're killing off, not just in a lot of states, they're killing off a huge number of deer. 2,000 deer to get bodies so they can perform necropsies and get a good sample size of what is going on in the deer population in Pennsylvania, but not just here, but also like California and so on and so forth, so they can figure out what is happening to our deer, what is this disease. And they found out that not a lot of them actually had it. There were actually some deer that had populations of deer that had natural immunities to the disease. Now, what's interesting, though, about this whole thing is how the hunters are reacting to it. The hunters, they are all up in arms because they're sick and tired of it because they pay for the game commission and for them to do what they do by buying their licenses to go hunt and trap and all these things. And then whenever they go and hunt, you're killing off all the deer. So then you're killing off 2,000 deer. That's a whole chunk of the population, right? The animal population. And now the hunters have to go sit in the blinds or in the stands or wherever they sit during hunting season, and they're not going to see any deer. And they want to contribute that to, well, now look, the Game Commission's fucking us, so we don't want to pay for our licenses next year because we're just going to boycott you. If you're going to kill the deer, then what's the point of going hunting? Because we're not going to see anything, right? And it's just a very interesting take on it. There's conspiracy that it's an insurance kind of deal where insurance companies have their money in with these guys and they're getting them to kill the deer so insurance companies can save money on claims from deer accidents, deer involved car accidents and so forth. So yeah.
That's a fucking reaching fucking conspiracy. Whoever came up with that one, that's reaching. Yeah, there can't be that much deer damage like that you couldn't make, you know what I mean, back like in this. I don't think that they're that petty to do that, because I don't think 200 deer would even cover it.
1,000.
Huh?
2,000.
2,000 deer in Pennsylvania alone?
No, 2,000 deer is how much they killed, not 200.
Okay, 2,000 deer in Pennsylvania alone?
Yeah.
Okay, 2,000 deer is big as Pennsylvania is money hunting. I don't see that being like a conspiracy.
No,
plus,
I know, I agree with you on that point. I do. I don't think it's the insurance companies. I mean, I could investigate it and see furthermore. Maybe if there was like past evidence, like maybe like because there is people that have been saying, and like from my family, that this is a trend where like they will kill off deer and like they're trying to like control the population, but like, you know, killing the deer is not controlling the population because you want to get the hunters out there to do it so then they can, you know, do what they got to do to get the food on the table, because that's the whole point of having hunters and etc.
So why would we think they were really doing it? Could it be exactly what they're saying? Could it? Could it be like
no, I agree. Like I said, it could just be because, well, we need to figure out about this disease.
I'm saying to the people that you're saying that told you this. I'm not saying you. I'm saying them. They're just not open-minded. To them, it's just, hey, we paid to shoot some deer, and we can't. They're not listening to any other, which I can understand them doing that, but they're not like, maybe this could be something that we need to watch, but they're just more just like speaking upsetly because they can't go out and hunt.
Well, it's hurting their chances of seeing a deer this next coming season, and it's kind of like you're biting the hand that feeds you, because you're killing off all these deer. In claims of this disease, and that, I mean, again, I agree that you got to take it seriously. You have to take it seriously, because you don't know everything about this disease, right?
Right.
Because we just started like really researching it since 2011, and we don't know everything about it. So that's why I agree that you got to do the research, especially when you have so many people in this state eating deer meat, and they're preparing it themselves. Need to be aware of that if there's some kind of health risk eventually down the line. Now,
and also, I think like if maybe it would be something that they definitely, I'm sure they probably do somewhere, whether they're facts or not. I don't know what they're actually doing, but are they informing the hunters, or did it just happen out of the blue?
Well, yeah, they have to inform the hunters, but I mean, it's still a little bit out of the blue. Like, they inform them by like posting something in the game commission sites, and and like sending out those, because like people that submit to the have licenses and stuff, they get those news report things. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the mail or whatever, like saying like, hey, this is like what we're doing. These are like laws. They always do that to keep them informed. And that's why, like, as soon as it all came out about it, they just threw up their arms like, this is bullshit, because once it's said, right, once they're informed, it's not like they really have a say in the matter. It's like, this is what we're the steps we decided to take to do this action, and this is just what you're going to have to deal with, this year.
Right. I wonder, do they have like some kind of meetings with them? Like, you guys can come in and we'll sit down and talk and show you presentation or something like that, just to like calm them down or something. Right. I wonder, did they do that?
I wouldn't think that they would open those up to the public, and like I said, and I'm not sure about that, but I'm saying off the top of my head, I don't think they would, only because you have hunters that have their schmeal. They just want to kill a deer, and some of them may not understand the idea of conservation, which most hunters do. Most hunters do understand the idea of conservation, but they might say, well, some hunters don't, because they just go out and kill deer that are on the farm. They hit them with their cars, just to get them, whatever. They don't understand the idea of conservation. They don't understand the idea that, like, we need to make sure the population of deer is healthy. They just care about, they want to kill a deer. They want to mount it on their wall, and they want to eat it.
Yeah.
So, and
I could get it. I get why they'd be upset, and I get both sides of it. But it's just one of those things, like you said, like, what's the truth? What's the middle? Like, what are they really doing?
What's the middle? Which, either way, to me, even if it's an insurance thing or whatever, I mean, it's and like I said, that's a stretch, but even if it is, it's just fucked up in general, because either way, it's a tough situation, because I get it. You gotta make sure that the meat is healthy and that it's not gonna hurt people and affect them, because then you're gonna be dealing with a lot more problems than just, oh, I didn't get to shoot any deer this year. It's gonna be, oh God, we gotta treat this new disease now that, like, people are getting from eating venison.
Infect the whole people that do that eat deer meat. It would affect everybody if it's not properly contained. So I'm just curious, like, how they decided the number. I'm sure they got their way of doing things, and they probably researched it in whatever manner that they had to. And I just think it's one of those things where they probably didn't give enough information so the hunters could get out of the, what you just said, like, going out, they just want to go hunt their deer, to really understand, like, hey, we're looking down the road, and the hunters are like, I'm not trying to hear that shit, motherfucker. I paid you.
I paid you. I'm trying to go shoot a deer. Don't fuck this up for me.
If you pay like your like license, like if you had a license to drive a car every year and you paid your fee that year to go drive, and then he said the roads. Well, we had to we had to take down these roads, so you can't drive on these roads.
Yeah, so now now it takes 45 minutes to get to Altoona instead of 20. And then you're just like, yeah, like that's fucking bullshit. Like I pay my licenses for you to maintain the roads, so you have to make sure these things work for us. These things work.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Like they're just, you know, upset, but I think if they really like they were into the what did you call it?
Conservation.
Conservation. I couldn't figure it. If they're not understanding that, then they're gonna always have that knee-jerk reply. But I guarantee you that the real conservationists, they understand what's really at stake.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, well, we talked about, holy fuck, we talked about so much today, and I'm actually glad because we talked about so much, and I want to thank Nicholas and Nolan and everybody else who came in. But big shout out to Nicholas, Bilger, and Nolan for at least popping up the chat and talking with us today. I appreciate it. Your insights were necessary. I enjoyed hearing your feedback. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, and we, if you guys are still here, anybody watches this, we did just go, I went and covered an event at VFW Post 8724 in Duncansville, and I remember the number now off the top of my head. It's been playing, actually, in the bottom of the right-hand side here of your screen. Not the bottom, that's Hoops Fest, but above that. And you know, and we went in there, and they had a great fundraiser. Yvette from Motley Muse painting classes taught all these ladies how to paint this beautiful American Vista painting, and you know, everybody was having a good time. And it was to raise money for this VFWs to help them buy some new kitchen equipment. The new kitchen equipment would help them be able to better feed veterans that they have come in there monthly. You know, to be fed and get this lunch and everything else, and also, not just that, but all the other charities they do, they do things for homeless people. They go to homeless food banks. They donate like $1,000 or something to food banks. So a great cause, and it was a great time. Met a bunch of interesting people. Yeah, but if you do see that video, please go check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. They're great people doing great things. And Yvette, also check out her painting classes. I don't know if you want to get wine drunk painting, but that sounds like fun. I've been considering it. Don't know when I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Doesn't she have some kind of like event going, some kind of thing for Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
go check her out.
Yeah, she has something going on for Valentine's Day, and she also has events going out throughout the week too. So definitely check into those; they are awesome. But Coach, you got anything else you got to say?
Fuck the Patriots. I respect them, but fuck them.
I respect them, but fuck them. Yeah, now because you gotta do. You can't just say 6 rings no more. You gotta be like, oh shit, there's another team with 6 rings.
Right.
But as always, guys, share our stuff, like it, please. We do appreciate you guys coming in here giving us feedback. So again, shout out to people that come up in the chat. We love hearing from you. Like this page. Check out our YouTube Mediated Media. Also, check out our Facebook page, Mediated Media. If you're someone who has a business or has public events or a foundation or an organization you'd like us to cover or talk with, or you're somebody in the community doing something, let us know. Shoot us a message. We'd love to do that. And I think that's it. I think it's subscribe to the YouTube and like our page. Like, share, subscribe. But as always, we're out of here. Take care. See ya. Stay beautiful. Bye.